The IBM ThinkPad A31 was released way back in 2002, a time when computers were rapidly evolving. They were intended for high-class workstation use and bolstered powerful Pentium 4 CPUs, which were the fastest you could get. They were often seen as desktop replacements. These things weren't cheap. A quick read in an old CNET article reveals them to be around $1,399 to a perfectly described, wallet-busting $3,949. Account for inflation and those figures are absolutely insane. Well, my one didn't cost that much. For only £35 on eBay, I managed to score this pretty neat example of one. Included was a snazzy laptop bag, power cord, a retractable mouse for some reason, and of course the ThinkPad. And this is the best part, installed on the drive was a copy of Windows 98. So let's unbox this beast of a laptop, delve into the past of IBM and see what it's all about. Like I said before, this is probably the coolest ThinkPad I've ever bought. So let's have a look and see what it's all about. So it's currently packaged in this mailing bag and nothing else. And I think they shipped it in a laptop bag, which is quite unusual, but hey, let's see what it's all about and see if it's actually survived shipping. So let me just get my knife. Came in a laptop bag. All right, that's pretty neat. And I have to remind you guys, this only cost £35 if I can recall. £35 for basically all of this. Here's the AC adapter, which is compatible with this ThinkPad. It's nice that they included that because I don't have to go out and buy one. It says manufactured November 2000. So this AC adapter is older than me. All right, that's quite neat. So you get the leather strap with the laptop bag as well as a name tag. That's quite cool. All right, let's put that aside. That's also quite cool. So there's extra track points. We might be needing them. Who knows? And so this is what I saw on the listing: a retractable mouse. Look how cool that is. And then you can just pull like that. Okay, and it'll retract slowly together. That's quite cool. I mean, this looks like it's probably from like the early 2000s, to be honest. But hey, if it works, we might use it with this ThinkPad, who knows? So let me just put all the accessories aside. And what are these? Okay, looks like a doctor's note or whatever. Okay, that's quite unusual. Anyways, okay. Here's the ThinkPad in the case. And to be honest, it fits quite nicely. I'm not sure if this laptop case was specifically made for this ThinkPad. That is quite a snug fit. But yeah. There's the ThinkPad A31. I did not forget the name. All right, let's get it out of the bag. And yeah, that is one beast of a ThinkPad. Look how thick that is. Oh, wow. To be honest, it looks in pretty decent condition for its age. I mean, there are quite a few scuffs and scratches on the front. Don't know if you can see that. But all the ports look fine. I'm not seeing any cracks. At first glance, it looks pretty good to me. All right, let's put this flat down and open this up and see what it looks like from the inside. So there are two latches that hold the screen down. And okay, that hinge is quite stiff, but there it is. This is the ThinkPad A31. Has a Pentium 4 and originally came with Windows XP. But something interesting with this ThinkPad is it actually has Windows 98, which is pretty cool. I mean, I've never played around with a machine with Windows 98. Except from virtual machines and all that, but we don't really count that, do we? So this will be quite interesting and quite fun. All right, so the ThinkPad A31. One thing I did notice prior to purchasing is it does have the stickers around the indicator lights, as well as the A31 status bar with the battery light and the sleep light. It does have the plastic wrapping on it. So honestly, this is quite mint, to be honest. I mean, it feels fine. The buttons feel okay. You got the IBM ThinkPad branding there, which is pretty neat. You got all of these buttons. This would have been a heck of a ThinkPad back in the day, let me tell you that. Anyways, let's see if this thing turns on, if it has any juice in it. I doubt it does, but you know what? Who knows? All right, let's press the button. And no. All right, so there's no boot up, there's no life to it. Honestly, I think the battery's probably dead by now. I mean, it's been like, what, 20, 21 years? Even more than that. Who knows if this battery will even hold the charge. Let's take a better look at this, turn it on, and see what this ThinkPad A31 is all about.
So far, this is looking quite good. The overall condition is essentially pristine, especially so given the age of this thing. With only a few scratches on the top of the chassis, there's not much in damage. Screen is intact, keyboard and palm rest look fine, but that knob does need replacing. Turning it around, you find two covers to access the RAM and Wi-Fi/modem cards. The A31 supports up to 2GB of RAM. The ports look to be in good order, and speaking of ports, there are some archaic ones which some may not recognize today. You got a serial port to transfer data, which kinda looks like a VGA port, PS2 port for peripherals, RJ11 for dial-up, RJ45 which is your standard Ethernet, VGA port for display, a parallel port for data, and a couple of USBs. The time when every port known to man was on a laptop.
Alright, let's plug it in and see if the ThinkPad turns on straight away. Okay, I think the charger port is at the back. Okay, so I've got it plugged into power and the battery light is blinking, which I think means that the battery is unfortunately dead. But obviously we'll see if it actually is by turning it on and see if it does hold a charge. So let's turn this thing on and see if it boosts the power. Okay, it's making some noise. F1. So, okay, so the CMOS battery is dead. Alright, okay. So let's have a look at this thing, okay. So BIOS version 1.00E, BIOS date 28th of February 2002. Oh my god, 2002, what is that, 22 years ago? I mean, I wasn't even born in 2002, you know what I mean? I wasn't alive. So the fact that this laptop is still running is kind of mad, honestly. CPU type, mobile Intel Pentium 4 processor, and 128 megabytes of installed memory. All right, that must be some really fast memory. Who knows how fast this thing will run? Obviously, Windows 98 is installed in it, so it should be a bit easier on RAM. Let's check if there's any passwords on this. So power on password, disabled, supervisor password disabled. Okay, so this is all good. So let me just fix that date and time. Okay, so the system date is January the 1st, 1988. That's kind of crazy. All right, so let me put the correct dates. Press F10, save configurations, and see if it boots into Windows 98. That's kind of sick, honestly. All right, so we're in Windows 98, and okay, so that track point does work. I don't think the wallpaper has loaded, but other than that, I'm not really seeing any issues to it. The screen looks pretty good as well. Okay, so what is this? Like I said, I've never used Windows 98 outside of a virtual machine, so this is quite different, honestly. It's not the same, is it? Okay, let me just close that control panel. So it's nice that Windows 98 and Windows 10, Windows 11 do have some similarities. Okay, so do the buttons work? Okay, so the right click does work. Yeah, okay, so we're in Windows 98. More sense, wouldn't it? Okay, program. What programs do we have in this? Okay, so we have Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, and all of these pretty cool programs. All right. Obviously, we'll take a better look at these programs. All right, Word 97. That's pretty sick. So all of these programs are pre-installed on it. It works. You can you can probably use this as like a word machine. All right, let's take a better look at this ThinkPad and obviously delve into Windows 98 and see what it's all about. Okay, so let's just shut down the ThinkPad and obviously take a better look at it. Okay, what are you going to do this? Okay, this is quite different. All right, okay, so let's take a better look at this ThinkPad, maybe disassemble it, clean it up, and obviously give a final verdict on it and do a bit more on Windows 98. This is quite exciting, to be honest. I've never delved into Windows 98, especially on an IBM ThinkPad. So this will be quite cool for me and for all you guys. So let me just do that real quick and we'll see how this ThinkPad really is.
Confirming it does indeed turn on, let's give it a clean before we properly use it. It is quite grimy in places, especially the keyboard. Giving it a quick wipe with some eucalyptus oil, it not only looks better, but smells a whole lot better too. Using a toothbrush, we can get into the tighter areas and eliminate any dirt particles. Admittedly, it's looking a whole lot better. Let's do a mini disassembly, apply some new thermal paste and give it a more thorough clean. Starting off, let's turn the ThinkPad around and take out the battery. Unscrewing those two covers, here we can see an extra RAM slot and Wi-Fi/modem cards. To access the hard drive, there's a screw on the bottom corner. Taking out the screw allows us to take it out with some force. This ThinkPad has a 20GB IDE hard drive from 2002, so as old as the laptop, it's a miracle it still works. With that out of the way, we can finally take out the rest of the screws which hold down the keyboard to the chassis. Once they're all out, we can turn it around and carefully disconnect the connector. A few screws hold down the palm rest to the base of the ThinkPad. Taking them out allows us to unclip it. Now we have full access to the ThinkPad's internals. For now, all I want to do is replace the thermal paste and give the laptop a good clean, so it performs as it should. A few screws and brackets later, the heatsink is finally out, and here we can see the Pentium 4. With a cotton bud and some isopropyl alcohol, that old crusty thermal paste is no more. Here's a bit of view of what the Pentium 4 looks like, probably the first time it's ever laid eyes on someone. And finally, give the other components a good clean. With that finally completed, let's put everything back together and explore this ThinkPad even more.
Alright, it's the next day. I actually recorded that disassembly process at 1 o'clock in the morning, which would make that the same day. Anyways, with the ThinkPad cleaned inside and out, let's see if it turns on. So let me just open up this little beast. Okay. And plug it into power. Find the power cord, which is conveniently at the back of the ThinkPad. Okay. Is there any signs of life? Okay, so the battery light is blinking, which I guess is a good sign. So let's just turn it on and see if it goes into the BIOS. Okay, it's making some noise. F1. Oh, fan error.
Yeah, I didn't know it then, but I really underestimated the gravity of the situation. Let me explain. As I was reassembling the ThinkPad, I negligently mixed up my screws to where I accidentally threaded down a larger screw. And where does that screw land on? Right onto the motherboard. You can see me here struggling to screw it down. Realizing my mistake, I took it out, but it was too late. At the time, I was none the wiser, but I basically irreversibly damaged the motherboard. Yep, that's me, casually killing vintage tech. This could have happened to anyone, as the thread doesn't have anything to stop a longer screw going through, which is a major design flaw. The damage point was adjacent to the fan connector, which is probably why the fan error kept popping up. A quick look online shows many people also going through the same issue, killing their ThinkPad just because they mixed up their screws. And over 20 years later, the same thing happened to me. It's honestly so stupid, but I mostly blame myself for not being careful. So what do we do now? As time goes by, these ThinkPads are getting incredibly rare. So rare, parts are essentially non-existent here in the UK, and you can barely find used models online. Thankfully, the stars aligned and I found another ThinkPad A31 on eBay. A bit beat up, but functional. I offered £25 and it got accepted. I got really lucky, as finding a replacement motherboard by itself would have cost up in the hundreds. It's a damn shame I damaged the motherboard, but alas, these things happen and remind you to always be wary. Organising the screws would have definitely helped prevent this fatal error. Let's wait for the second A31 to arrive, test to see if it works, and commence the replacement. Now, I didn't think I'd be doing a second unboxing in this video, but here we are. Anyways, here's the second A31 I'll be using to hopefully replace the motherboard. Of course, I can recoup any losses by selling the other parts, since they do go for high numbers as they are incredibly rare. The condition of this ThinkPad, let's be honest, isn't the best, but the most important thing is, does it turn on? No. Just to make sure, I hooked it up to a monitor and it booted up straight away, so there must be an issue with the display. Looks to be fine with no BIOS passwords or anything. I put the hard drive in to check if it recognized it, and yep, looks good. Let's turn this off and investigate the issue. There's no point in me explaining this disassembly, as I've already done it. On closer examination, there looks to be nothing wrong with the motherboard pins. To confirm this, I ripped out the display from the other working A31, and yes, it booted up straight away. But I wasn't convinced. Perhaps it was a loose connector that was preventing the panel to turn on. I took it apart, and yes, it did seem that something was missing, as a few connectors were loose. Lifting the panel also shows the main connector to be disconnected. The supposedly faulty panel was actually a FlexView IPS 1400x1050 display, which were incredibly sought after back in the day. So I was really hoping it wasn't faulty. I took apart the other display, and with some screws and adhesive, it gave way. And immediately I noticed it did have a small PCB under the panel, which was missing from the other one. Carefully taking it out and putting it in the other one yielded no results. I could do more testing, but honestly just wanted the ThinkPad to work, so let me know if you want to see an update with this display, as it is quite cool. Anyways, let's commence with the disassembly of both ThinkPads. Cue the montage.
Finally, the ThinkPad is ready. It's taken what's felt like forever to get up to this point, but let's just hope everything is okay and we don't have to do anything else to it. Let's just see if it loads into Windows as it should. All right, so the first thing we need to do is just open up the lid and turn it on. Okay. All right, give it some time. All right, so we do need to change the date in the BIOS because the CMOS battery is unfortunately dead, yeah, as you can see. All right, so let's just do that real quick. So the date today, as I'm recording this, is the 7th of October, and save it. Okay. All right, so the reason I've not changed the CMOS battery in the ThinkPad is because it will take quite a bit to get, and I want to make this video as soon as possible. So as long as it works, as long as it goes into Windows, as it should right now, yes, it's going into Windows 98, we should be fine. Let's just hear that beautiful chime. So the ThinkPad is finally up and running. Let's see how it performs in Windows 98. Now, if you remember from the unboxing, I did get this mouse that came with the ThinkPad. Let's see if it works. So what I need to do is just pull it to its desired length. So I think I have to download the drivers. Let me see, let me just do that real quick. Search for the best driver, press next. Okay, press next. And will it install the drivers? Oh my god, yes it will! Look at that! So the mouse is in fact working, and it has some pretty nice colours with it as well. What is that, like purple, pink? And I think it's just cycling through colours. That's pretty cool. And it does it work? Let me press finish. Yes, it works! Alright, look at that. That's pretty sick. And yes, it's like a kind of rainbow effect, isn't it? Alright, so let's explore Windows 98 on this ThinkPad A31 and see how well the ThinkPad performs. I mean, the ThinkPad is a workstation, well, was a workstation. I wouldn't really do any workstation tasks on it anymore. So it should run Windows 98. I mean, this was meant for Windows XP, as you can see from the sticker on the palm rest. So theoretically, it should be fine, but obviously we'll do some tests, see how it is, and just explore some applications, because there are some pre-installed applications. I don't know if you noticed it from the start. If I go on programs, there are quite a few pre-installed applications, which is pretty neat. So this is basically like a blast from the past. It's going to be really interesting, so stay tuned. What I want to do first is go into Start, and then Settings and Control Panel. And I want to see the specs of this thing. So let me go on System. And what does it say here? So System, Windows 98, 2nd edition, all right. Registered to Ultratone Limited. So I'm thinking this is the company that previously owned this ThinkPad, but for some reason it's still registered to them. That's quite interesting. I don't think they're around anymore. I mean, if they were around, then they probably would have unregistered this ThinkPad. It's quite safety risk, isn't it? Computer, genuine Intel, x86, Family 15, Model 2, Step in 7. Have no idea what that means. And 383 megabytes of RAM. So we did upgrade the RAM from 128 to 384. It says 383 for some reason. So device manager, what's it saying here? Okay, so computer, disk drive, display adapters. What is it saying here? All right, so ATI Mobility Radeon 7500. I'm guessing these the graphics are in the A31. So display, can we see some display settings? Let's just bring it here so you can see it better. So background, okay, so we're currently on the clouds background. Let's see. Ooh, that's quite cool. Did they change it? Oh wow. That's quite neat. Screensaver. Okay, so there are some screensavers with this thing. Okay, that's pretty cool. 3D flower box. Wow. So we can change it from Windows Standard. Honestly, I quite like this design. I do like the rustic like feel of Windows 98. That's quite cool. I do like that. Rows. Okay, so I had no idea that Windows 98 had all of these customizable like details. I mean, look at that, that's pretty neat, isn't it? Okay, so what we want to do now is try out some applications and see how well this ThinkPad runs them. So the first thing I want to do is go into Programs and let's explore Microsoft Word. And I think this is, Word 97. So this version of Word is, if I'm not mistaken, 26 years old, which is older than this ThinkPad. So let's see how well it runs it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it runs it well. I mean, it's Word, isn't it? Well, okay, so yeah, all of the keys are registering, which is nice. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so honestly, Word 97 looks quite similar to Word from today. I mean, I can probably use this. You can probably use this if you really want to. You've got all of your tools, your tables that you can add and make it look all nice and snazzy. Insert break. I mean, this is all in the latest version of Microsoft Word. And can we save it? So save as. All right, let me just press save. And yeah, okay, so it does save it. And let me just go out of it. 7th of October 2024. I think it has been 20 years since a file has been saved on this hard drive, which is pretty mad. But what is this folder here? Caplio. Okay, so another thing that I noticed while exploring this ThinkPad is there's quite a few files in here. And if you try and click on it, you get an error message saying the drive or network connection of the shortcut refers to is unavailable. Make sure that the disk is properly inserted or the network resource is available. So I'm guessing all of these files were saved on like a server or a NAS or whatever, like 25 years ago. And I don't think the company is around now. So you can't really access those files anymore, which is a bummer, but you know what? It's okay. I don't really mind. They can keep their files if they want. But yeah, it is like, you can see the names of them all. I mean, those are mine, aren't they? So I can access them, can't I? Yeah, there you are. Okay, so let's go on PowerPoint. Blank presentation, which is okay. Press OK. So you got all of these settings that you'd expect with PowerPoint. You can add more slides, I'm guessing. Yeah, slide layout, apply design, and yeah, okay. So it works as usual. I do like the noises that Windows 98 makes, I'll be honest. Like that. Do you want to save the changes you made to presentation 1? Nah, I'm fine. Okay, so we got some accessories. Accessibility. Games? Okay, let's explore some games. We got Minesweeper, look at that. I have not seen this for a good while. Okay, so can I make it bigger? Intermediate? Yeah, come on. We're not beginners here, are we? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Oh my god. Wow, look at that. I'm actually not doing that bad. For the first time playing this in like, what, 10, 15 years? Okay, yeah, we died. Microsoft Outlook 97, oh wow. Oh, look at that, it's Clippy! It's Clippy! Yeah, I can move him around. So this is basically like Siri before Siri. So it does recognize the date. Inbox 1, there's nothing really here, is there? Yeah, but it's crazy how things haven't really changed in the past 25 years, have they? Mail, inbox, sent, outbox, deleted items. I mean, this is basically what you'd expect with a normal email provider, innit? Let's see what Harvard Graphics is. Create new presentation. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, so title. I'm guessing, is this like another version of PowerPoint, maybe? I think it's another way of making like presentations or something like that. But yeah, this goes to show how advanced Windows 98 was for its time. I mean, you wouldn't really expect this, would you? Okay, we'll just go out of that for now. Alright, so is this like Photoshop? Like a B-Tech version of Photoshop? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Look at that. Can I change the colors maybe? Palette color. Let me change the blue. How do I do that? How do I do that? Oh, there you are. I might make the thumbnail on the ThinkPad, who knows? I could probably do that, to be honest. If I like import all of the files on this ThinkPad, I could probably make the thumbnail on here. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so save as JPEG, alright, that's fine. Let me save in my documents. Okay, so just save as that for now. Yes, it did, look at that. It's in Internet Explorer, but it does save. And you can do some photo editing on this if you really want to. Video works. Alright, so let's see what this is all about. I'm guessing it's, yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm guessing this is like a video editor. So you just drag and drop video files and just connect them together maybe. But if I put this here, logo, light, and fish. Alright, so is there any way I can play it? Look at that. Happy Newsoft, which I think is the company that made this program. Merry Christmas. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me go out of that for now. Can I export this? File, import. No, I want to export. Okay, the mouse is kind of spazzing out, to be honest. Capture video, paste, effect. Is there any way I can export this? I really want to see it. Acquire images. Export. All right, okay. Save as. If we can do that. Okay, I don't think we can save it. All right. It's not really giving me the option, is it? Okay, so I think we've explored basically most of the programs here. I didn't see Excel though. Let me see Excel. Excel 97 looks exactly the same as Excel 2022, 2023, whatever version it is right now. Yeah, looks exactly the same. You could probably use this for spreadsheets or whatever. Okay, this is a blast from the past. Look at this. Who remembers this version of Paint? I remember as a kid on Windows XP making the best pieces of art on this version of Paint, and honestly, the memories are flooding in. Okay, so yeah, okay, this is basically as I remember it. These shapes here. Yep, okay. I mean, look how good that looks. Okay, no, we don't need to save that. Is there anything else of interest? All right, so this will be the last program that we check out. Resource 2. I have no idea what that is. It looks like some hearing software, something like that. Yeah, I suppose so. There's literally an ear on the screen. Oh, so you basically save like patient's information here. It says database, you can add them in database session. So yeah, this does confirm my suspicions of this laptop being part of like a hospital or like a GP. If you don't know what GP is, a general practitioner, basically someone who manages your health records or something like that. I think this is probably what its use case was like 20, 25 years ago. So that's quite interesting, and it is quite a security risk that they didn't reset it or didn't format the drive before selling it on. So we won't really explore that much into those kind of files. All right, total battery remaining 100%. Yeah, I don't think that's right. I mean, Windows 98 is running fine. It's not had any problems going through those applications. Let's see how well a game runs on this A31. I do have a game that I bought, and we'll put it into the CD drive and see if it loads off it. All right, let me do that. All right, here we have Windows Flight Simulator 2000. If you remember this, then you're a certified veteran, because I don't. So let's see if we can read the disk in the A31. So let me open it, and I think we have to put in disk number 1. Here we have the disk. Looks okay. Not too many scratches on it. Let's open up the CD-ROM drive. Okay, so that does work. And put the CD in and install the game. Okay. All right, will it detect the CD? And it should be there somewhere. Where is it?
Unfortunately, I couldn't get the CD drive to show up. I did try multiple methods like reinstalling drivers and whatnot, but alas, I guess we have to leave it that for now. If you do want to see a follow-up video on the A31, then let me know. Overall, I'm quite pleased with my purchase. Yes, we did encounter a few mishaps, but I hope you can forgive me for my idiocy. Anyways, I guess I'll leave it there. If you did enjoy the video, then a like, share and subscribe will be greatly appreciated. If you watched all the way through, then you're a certified legend. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.